Let's talk about trading with a small account. An account size of about $1,500. Is it possible? All right. If you think you can do that with trading the E-mini futures flat out, you're not going to be able to do so. All right. At least I wasn't. I'll say that now. The micros, yes. When I first started trading over 15 years ago, the micros futures were not even a thing. They weren't even an option in which you could actually trade. Okay. So I had to turn to the E-mini futures, and I was trading one contract at a time. And I was very selective with the contracts or instruments that I could trade. I primarily stuck with the indices. And I'll say this now, I didn't fare well. Okay. I got frustrated. I was taking 50-50, I guess wins here and there and 50-50 losses here and there. So I was one trade, I would make some money. The next trade, I'll lose what I made. I think the most I got my $1,500 account up to was about $3,000. And then all of a sudden I started taking losses and I ended up getting all the way back down to $1,500. And luckily for me, I stopped at that point because I knew I wasn't doing something right. Especially, well, it was a couple of things. First of all, I didn't know too much about stop loss placement, risk management, where to place my stops at. And so I was placing my stops very close to where I got into a trade at. And lots of times it stopped me out, right? I didn't know anything about the flow of the market. The market likes to move up and down and then break structure and then come back and retest key areas in which the market had just originally moved to break that swing high or swing low. They love to test those swing highs, or I should say, the back end of a swing, okay, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. If it's breaking structure lower, they'll test that swing at the back end, just to stop traders out. That's one thing that I started struggling with, was taking small hits and losses here and there. It was causing me to lose money, but I never did blow my account, it's kind of funny to say that, but I never did blow my account because I stopped early on. I was making money and then I thought I was doing something correct and I stuck with what I was doing. And at the time I was trading break and retest. Kind of crazy, right? Because I didn't know anything about supply and demand. And it wasn't until probably about a year later, maybe a year and a half, where I started, telling myself that I am up and down this market. I'll never get ahead. I was getting frustrated, almost wanting to or getting ready to quit trading altogether because I couldn't figure out what it was I was doing wrong. Okay. So it wasn't until I figured out that I needed to go back and look at the charts for what they were and take away everything. At the time, I was using every indicator under the sun. I'm talking MACDs, EMAs, SMAs, RSIs, stochastics, Bollinger Bands. I was trading and trying it all when it came to the trading futures. And again, market structure was something that, for me, it didn't, not saying it didn't work for me. I just didn't understand how to read the market. And that was the turning point for me where I was able to understand how to read the market, meaning market structure, following the actual direction of the market. And that's all market structure is which way is it moving? Which way is it trending? Is it reversing from the trend for it was moving to the upside back to the downside? I had to start looking at things from a broader perspective. I was more so centered and focused in taking trades from smaller charts, okay, or lower range charts. And I wasn't looking out at the bigger picture from, higher charts. That's when things started to come together for me, is where I said I need to stop before I blow the little bit of money that I do have in my brokerage account, which fortunately for me, again, I was able to make an ascent in the market and where I was profiting. And then I came back down, started losing back to where the original amount I have. And I stopped right there because to me, I knew I wasn't doing something right. So I cut it short there. At that point, that's when I went back to the drawing board and figure out that market structure, being able to understand how to read the charts correctly. That's what's the game changing for me. That was when the light finally clicked. And, I went back and started watching videos like that, market structure videos online. And that's where I started figuring out that, hey, I am completely not, and had not been trading the right way. And when I understood market structure and it was able to look at the markets from a different perspective, That's when the light clicked for me, okay? And from there, I started devising an actual strategy surrounding supply and demand. And granted, I didn't even understand or know much about supply or demand at that time. I actually went back and I figured out, how to really read the market by following market structure, that way. And then I started to look at supply and demand, because again, I was still looking at break and retest trading. Basically, let's say like this was a break to the upside, this would be the neck or the high of that swing for the market come back there and take a trade going in that direction, right? In this case here, that's exactly what it did. Now, but one thing I failed to understand was, and it made this simple logical sense. If a move started right here, why would I trade on a pullback way up here? Why not trade it when it got back to the origination point, which, later down the road, that's where I figured out that, this is demand, which means that there's bullish momentum and volume coming out of this area. And this is where it started at, where the market made its high, came back, and then broke structure going higher to the upside. Okay. But these type trades, they were like 50-50 hits. 50% of the time they would work, 50% of the time they wouldn't. So I was constantly I was up, down, up, down. Again, for me, I know that may be a different story for some people, where they put money into an account and then all of a sudden they blow through it. I'm very fortunate that I did not blow my account. I was able to hold on to that $1,500 that I had. And once I figured out, after almost 2 years later, I did not touch that account again until I went back to the drawing board, went back to demo and simulation, basically learned and understood market structure, and then devised a simple strategy surrounding supply and demand. That's where things started to work in my favor. I put that to the test, basically using range charts in the way I trade, trading supply and demand, using a 120 range for the NASDAQ and then a 24 range for the NASDAQ. So using a higher and a lower range chart to basically find me the confluence that I need surrounding supply and demand, these setups that I'm looking for to be able to trade the correct way. 2 years in, that's where I started putting things to the test and back testing and forward testing it. And then my consistency started to go through the roof. Okay. I started to see that I was more profitable trading and coming up with a plan and strategy for myself and sticking to a certain routine. That's when things started to unfold for me. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you can trade with $1,500, but I would not definitely trade the full-on E-mini futures. I would certainly trade with the micros. I feel that $1,500 is a good amount of money to trade the micro futures with, because they are a tenth of a fraction of what the full-on E-mini tick value size is. So they're 10 times less in trading value is what I'm trying to say. So you can definitely do so. And I have plenty of videos here on the channel to where I talk about using a 5% rule, meaning never risk more than 5% of your actual account size and trade with that. Okay. So that's going to hold you accountable when it comes to risk management and not making sure that you're not leveraging more than you should be within the market. Remember what I said, 5%, right? So that was over 15 years ago. And today, now I'm consistently profitable. I'm making money. I'm comfortable. I do not deviate from what I taught myself, okay, and what I got in my plan. Every once in a while as traders, we do, allow ourselves to slip here and there, but you got to quickly know. And the good thing about it, you'll know when you slip and do something that's against your trading plan, the market will slap you on the hand. I'm telling you, it's like karma almost in a sense, but that's when I know that I'm not following my plan through. And when I go back to doing things, the way I should be and stick with that, that's when I continuously, are making the profits. All right. So being able to take a small account like that to grow it to where I'm at today is, I say from my part, is very phenomenal. But I would be so much more probably ahead of the game if the micro futures were offered back then, because I would have started off that way, and that would have been really my testing tool when I really wanted to go live. Because even when the market, when I was ready to go live, micro futures were not even still an option. Okay, so it wasn't until then that once I learned my strategy that I put together, market structure, and I still had that $1,500, I went back to trading one contract and was slowly able to, a couple $100 here, $100 there. It slowly started to build, okay? But I put, like I said, I was only risking a very small amount of my capital on each trade. I know you might be saying, wow, it's pretty crazy trading with $1,500 on the micro not micro, but the full-on E-mini futures. Yes, I wasn't trading the E-minis at first. The E-mini S&P 500. I was, because it's was it $12 and 50 cents a tick. Okay, I was trading like the Nasdaq, the Russell, the Dow. Things were like $5 a tick. I didn't want to trade anything that was too heavy on the pocket, and I only had a small amount of money. But you could definitely do so with the micro futures. I would definitely recommend that to anyone starting out there. But do yourself the favor, and I'm telling you this right now: learn and understand master market structure. Okay, all right, and either devise, create a strategy that's going to work for you. Learn someone else's strategy. Here on my channel, I talk about a great strategy that is very profitable if you understand and know how to trade it. It's not complex. It's very simple if you understand the premise behind it. And I basically break it down like the blueprint, the cornerstone to the strategy, to all those who are like a part of the elite or the ultra elite tier membership program. Pretty much, it's very inexpensive. I'm talking like pennies on the dollar a day. With that, by becoming an elite or an ultra elite supporter of the channel, you receive my trade breakdown videos. Like, I posted my entries today. I posted them yesterday. So what I'll do is I'll post them over on the Discord, okay? And then I'll go back and I will break the trades down in great detail. It's like you're sitting right next to me and I break things down for you, okay? Talking about market structure, what I was looking at from a top-down analysis standpoint, why I engaged in that trade, what gave me the idea to want to take that trade. Talking to you about price action, I'm basically talking through the actual setup as a whole. And there's plenty of those videos there in which you can watch over and over and over again and take notes on. Again, the strategy is not hard at all. It's just using multi-chart confluence, because the confluence is a factor that's very important. The more confluence you have on your side, if you're looking at a demand zone, the market taps that zone, you got confluence on a higher range and then confluence on a lower range, as well as maybe a round number or half number confluence at that demand zone or supply zone. Okay, guess what? The market more so is going to be in your favor and moving in your intended direction. So again, if you become an elite member and become part of the community or be a supporter of the channel, and the link is down in the description portion of the video. It's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. Click on that and you'll see a few tiers pop up. Being an elite supporter, you receive all my trade breakdown videos, the video playlist, plus a great video that I did on market structure, guys, if you are failing to understand that concept. Now, if you want to take it one step up and become an ultra elite supporter, you receive everything I just discussed, plus my live recorded trading sessions, which I did one today, actually, okay? And that went up just a few hours ago, all right? And there's plenty of that video content to watch just as well. Now, again, the link is down in the description portion of the video. It's titled Ultra Elite Supporter. Click on it. You'll see a couple tiers pop up. Make sure to click either the Elite or the Ultra Elite, and you'll see the price, which is very inexpensive. I don't have a trading course or a mentorship program. I'm not here to dig into anyone's pockets and charge hundreds or even thousands of dollars, okay? Very inexpensive price, guys, I'm telling you, for just becoming part of that or gaining access to that community of private content. Now, if you have not taken the time to subscribe to the channel, please take the time to sub by clicking that button. Make sure to turn your post notifications on so you do not miss any of the uploaded content here on the channel. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video, please make sure to click that like button for me. I greatly appreciate it. Take care, and I'll see everyone in the next video.